I think that is a natural way of learning English. You cannot, go deep into the topic-wise grammar because it's not that easy to understand. So I think
Right.
while you are talking, you are learning few sentences, and this is how you are learning grammar. That is the beneficial part. Initially, when you are a beginner, you have no one to speak with, you feel shy, underconfident. That is the time you need someone actually. What do you think? What is the most appropriate way if somebody wants to learn English quickly? See, one is fancy English, one is basic English. I have seen most educated people, they're using very basic English, very simple English, which is able to understand by any person. And there are a category of people, especially if I talk about Gen Z's, they are talking that much hi-fi English, I can say that.
Basic words. You don't need to worry about having like the most sophisticated words in your vocabulary. Words. And I think those new words that Gen Zs are introducing in the language, I mean, they're not yet in the dictionary.
How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you so much for asking. So before moving ahead, I would like you to give me a brief introduction about yourself for the new viewers.
Sure, sure. I'm Shobha. I'm the head of design at Sparky, and I've been in the edtech industry for almost about 9 years now. Majorly, I've been building products for kids, but now I've expanded it to adults. So it's been quite a journey where I've been building products for English speaking, listening, reading, writing, all sorts of modes. And I was born in Delhi, brought up in Muscat, and currently I'm in Bangalore.
Okay, so currently, right now, you're talking to me from Bangalore.
Yeah, yeah, from Bangalore.
How is the weather?
Amazing, amazing. Like I have stayed in different places, but I think every time I come back and I land in Bangalore no, and I get the whiff of the air, right? I'm like, oh, my home. It's so good. It's so pleasant all year long. It's very pleasant.
Okay, okay, okay. Now it's quite okay here also. It's bright and sunny now. Like in the month of January, it was really freezing cold, I can say that. But now we are getting some relaxation in that.
Yeah, yeah. I was in Delhi during my childhood days, so I remember like my toes and my fingers would swell up. It was so cold, I couldn't take it. Yeah.
Yeah, even my mother, she always says that like in the next winter, I will not stay here. I'll move to some other place. I cannot bear it anymore.
Yeah, I totally
Okay,
understand.
so today I'm gonna ask you a few questions which I have received through emails by my subscribers only.
Okay.
Let's start with the Sparky only. Give me a brief introduction about Sparky today. What exactly the Sparky is and how it works.
Okay. So Sparky is an English speaking app, majorly focused on speaking, but it's also focused on writing as well, which is the secondary mode of how you can communicate with Sparky. And it's for learners who are either beginners, intermediate, advanced, whichever stage you're at, Sparky will adapt to the stage that you are currently at. Even if you have broken English, that's fine with Sparky, but takes you to a higher level over time. So even if it's difficult for you to understand certain vocabulary terms that are new to you, Sparky will introduce with like some space and time. It'll understand your pace. Every learner is different. Sometimes people are very pro with reading, they are not very good with maybe speaking. Some are very good with speaking, may not be as well with writing. So everybody is different, and Sparky is able to understand that very easily and adapt to that learner. And beyond that, it also gives feedback. It also gives you, like, in the early days, if you're having difficulty, what do I say to Sparky? I don't know how to speak properly. There is a help section where you can see the couple of responses and directly respond to Sparky through that. That is like almost a crutch that you're using in the early days, but slowly when you start talking to Sparky, you won't need that crutch. You'll yourself start speaking to Sparky. There's feedback, there is dictionary that we have for new words that you don't know, want to know the meaning. You want to know, okay, this word I can use in what all ways can I use it, what are the different examples of sentences that you can make with these words, right? And the report, I think that is one major one. When you set your milestones and where you want to be, you can do that with report. You can see, okay, this is how much I'm doing in pronunciation, in grammar, in vocabulary, and where I want to be within a week or within a month. What your how you can, don't be hard on yourself. You can do it like 5 minutes every day, 10 minutes every day, whatever your goal is like, but just have patience with it. Because the more you make it like a task to yourself, right? Oh my God, I have to do this. You're like so frustrated. Oh my God, such a big effort. you take baby steps. Do it in small chunks, but do it almost every day so that you have a consistent routine with it. So Sparky is going to take you through that whole journey where you'll be able to, if you stand at a A1 CEFR level. CEFR, I mean, is a actually common framework for European standards, like for speaking. So if you stand at A1 and you want to be within a month at A2, you can set that with Sparky and you'll be like, you see that journey growth, you know. So that's important. Report is important, feedback, dictionary, speaking. Speaking, I think, is the main thing that is in Sparky. Every learner needs to come back and just like speak to Sparky. And it's a non-judgmental safe space, right? Like with humans, you might feel a little bit awkward, you might hold yourself back. That's not there with Sparky. You can make as many mistakes you want and then learn through those mistakes.
Like majorly you are feeling comfortable while talking to Sparky rather than talking to somebody else in the beginning. So I
Yeah.
think it is good for the beginner level people or it is good for advanced level people also.
All. I think over time, beginners who have broken English, for them, Sparky is going to handhold you to take you to an intermediate stage. But even for advanced level or even I think intermediate folks as well, it'll bring new vocabulary into your sentences, your day to day. You want to speak better, you want to sound like Sashi Tharoor, you can like, you can have such great goals like that.
Now I am seeing that everyone is giving example of Shashi Tharoor when we talk about English. It's like third or fourth time
Yeah.
I'm getting the same example.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah,
Sparky is, equally like reliable. We can learn English speaking like Shashi Tharoor, right?
yeah. Definitely. Just set your goals and you'll be there. In a year, I think if you keep practicing, if you do it every day, you pick up on new media and formats, like, listen to different kind of podcasts, because listening is very important. I'll just give you an example. Like when we were kids and we had to learn our native language. I'll just take an example of Hindi for now because that's what is for me. It could be anything for the viewer, right? And how we learned that language is majorly like our mama, papa speaking in that
Yes,
language
ma'am.
for so long. We heard those words even if some words were new to us. We even didn't understand. We knew the body language, we knew the intent of the
Yes.
person. So starting, it's almost like 1,000 2,000 hours of just listening to that
Yes,
language.
ma'am.
Then you start speaking it, then you start reading, writing. All of that is like advanced stuff. But the first is you listen actively. Listen, try and understand. So you can watch movies, you can read articles, you can go to podcasts. There are so many like YouTubers like you, they can listen to. There are influencers that they can follow and continuously maybe get some new words into their vocabulary. Just listening, I think, is the first step. Then you start speaking.
Yeah, that is true. I 100% agree with this point of yours because I used to listen a lot. And the moment I stopped listening, I'm feeling that I'm stuck on a certain level. So
Yeah.
I recently started listening like new podcast or something regularly so that I can build some good vocabulary. And that is important, I think, listening. People thought only speaking is enough, but no, guys, only speaking is also not enough.
Yes.
You need to do like 50-50. I feel 50% of listening and 50% of speaking, that can make a good combo, I think.
Uh,
Okay, one question that sounds funny to you, but somebody asked me through email. I'll mention that question here. So he asked me, ma'am, if I will take the subscription of Sparky, in how many months I will start speaking fluently? Can you give me any accurate answer of that?
so
Which
I
is
would.
not possible, I know.
Yeah, like fluently depends also where you stand currently. You have to also understand where are you, like are you at A1 level, are you at A2 level? And if you're already at A2 level, speaking fluently would be like B1, B2 or so. I think 3 to 6 months is good enough. But if you're a
Mhm.
beginner, if you're standing at A1, you have difficulty even forming sentences, it might take longer. It could take 9 months, it could take 12 months, right? But that is if you put the consistent effort. You don't need to just assume that, oh, like I too did this much, but like I'm not reaching this level. But you have to do that effortlessly every single day, even if you want to put like lesser amount, if you want to do it in the morning, evening, whatever routines works for you. But you need to do it every day. And that's more important. I think if you just assume like in 3 months, but I'll only use it once a week, I'll only use it once a month, then you're not going to reach that level. So if you put
Mhm.
consistent effort onto it, you will definitely, and I'm telling you because I have tried it, I have done it, and I wish when I needed something like this, I had a product like this.
Okay. So like within 3 to 6 months, if a person is consistent, then
Yes.
only he can achieve a level of fluency where he is able to communicate his thought or express his thought
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah.
That's great. And let's talk about the charges also. We had a few conversation earlier, but we have never discussed about the charges. Like people have this question like, ma'am, is it nominal or what are the charges basically?
Okay, the charges are quite nominal. I mean, it's almost less than a recharge, I'm sure you do. Okay, so it's like for almost a month, I think it would be what, less than 300, 250 bucks or something. And for 6 months, I think it's around 500. It's very cheap. Like less than a recharge you're doing, but you're doing this for your growth. You're doing this to be a better person you want to be. Where you see yourself standing in 3 months, 6 months, that amount is, I think,
Nothing.
you know, like in front of what you want to be, right? Where what kind of opportunities and things that will open up for you. If you want to go for masters, you want to go for a better job, you want to talk to your clients properly, it'll give so much more to you as a person. The confidence, this amount is nothing in front of that.
Nothing. Yeah, it's very nominal. I think I recharge my phone in like rupees 349 for a month, 28 days. So it's
Uh,
costly than that.
yeah.
Okay, so that's a great thing. One thing I would like one of my viewer, he was asking me that, ma'am, can we get the listening practice also through Sparky or like we can only speak through it? So what, like how exactly it is?
Both are happening at the same time where Sparky is speaking and you are listening. So actively listen to what Sparky is saying. And then when you respond, you are getting to speak as well. And there is another mode where if you don't want to speak, maybe you're out in the metro, you're practicing, right? And at that point, there's too much noise around you. It might be difficult for you to converse with Sparky, but you have time because you're traveling right now, you know, you have time to kill. You can practice speaking at that, like learning at that time, so you can use the text mode in that case, where you're just typing to Sparky and Sparky is speaking back to you. So you can put your earphones, you can listen to Sparky and then respond in text.
Okay, 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 okay. Understood, understood. Okay, so like before moving forward, let's play a demo of Sparky so that it can give a better clarity to the viewers for
Yes,
understanding it. Let's have
let's,
a demo first.
let's do that.
Introducing Sparky, your voice first AI friend for building spoken English fluency. Sparky is a friendly fox you can speak in English with even if you don't speak well. Sparky gently corrects you and also shares feedback on everything you say.
I did not got invited for my friend's birthday and I'm very sad. I didn't knew she did not want to be friends with me.
Oh no, I'm
Each conversation is designed to give you practice on specific language concepts or topics relevant to your life. Sparky keeps the conversation going so it never gets boring and helps and supports learners. If you're stuck for words, Sparky suggests what you could say. If you don't understand something Sparky said, you can easily see the meaning and even translate it to a language of your choice. Want to hear something again? You can just hit replay. You can also choose the accent and speed for Sparky's voice.
hello. Would you like me to speak faster or slower or in a different style?
Over time, it creates your personalized learning path to give you more practice on the specific mistakes that you make. If you don't feel like always talking, you can try out some fun interactive games designed to build vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar. You can also read stories and articles with Sparky, and Sparky will highlight the mispronounced words in red. Users see Sparky as a friend and enjoy talking to it.
I want to share a few things with you. Like in friendship, I always try to put my efforts in my all possible best ways. Then also, I am always being treated like an option. What to do about it?
Very soon, underconfident, struggling learners gain confidence, get over the stress and embarrassment, and begin to have meaningful conversations about things important to them. This
So my next question is like people when we take personal online sessions, one-on-one sessions with the tutors. So while practicing, when somebody is stuck at a particular level, so tutor have this habit not to interrupt in between. What they do when the person finish the sessions, they give feedback at the end. So how Sparky give feedbacks? Like, is it interrupting every now and then, or he like waits to finish the session and then at the end of the session it gives feedback? How it
That's
works?
great, great question. Because Sparky is non-intrusive. When you're having a conversation with Sparky, Sparky is not going to continuously poke you, be like, hey, click here, see the feedback, see the feedback.
Oh,
It tells you that every response that you've given Sparky, there is a feedback, but it's not in your face. You can go click, see the feedback whenever you want to go and see it. And in the conversation of Sparky, maybe there is a glaring mistake that you've done, very like it's almost very difficult to understand what you've said. Maybe the spelling is wrong, or there is a word like you've used is instead of are. Okay, very glaring thing you've used. Then Sparky will tell you in the conversation itself. So you don't need to go anywhere else. You're just having a non-judgmental, safe space kind of a conversation with Sparky, where Sparky is just letting you know. But there is a separate section where you can go and see all the grammar mistakes that you're making. How would you sound like a native speaker if you were to say the same thing but better? Like what is the better way to say the same thing, right? So
mhm.
it's non-intrusive, it won't come in your way. You are still having, like, both of us are talking, right? It's just like that. It's just like that with
Okay.
Spark. You can speak, like I can speak broken English, you will still understand. It's very, very normal and natural like that with Sparky also.
Okay, now I got it. I got it. Okay, so like I thought if like for example, what when I had sessions with my tutors, I used to have few sessions with other online platforms. So that time few tutors I like came across when they pointed to each and every time and it really interrupts your flow. It doesn't sound really good when somebody's, poking you. So I thought if it is like the same, it's not at all good. So I think it is really the best part with Sparky that it's not going to poke you again and again. Sometimes people feel irritated. See,
Yeah,
though they're wrong, they know that it's correcting their mistakes, but it gives another level of frustration sometimes that, oh my God, like also it gives you another level of demotivation, I feel, when somebody is poking you a lot. So I think
yeah,
sometimes you should let it go. Let it go,
right.
like where whatever they are speaking, they have to. So like Sparky working in their favor, that's a really great thing. And one thing I would like to know how Sparky helping people to improve their grammar portion. It is all about speaking, like how it helps to improve someone's grammar.
I think one would be the speaking part that we had talked about, where Sparky is speaking to your response in the context of what you're talking about. So you also understand by somebody else being little bit better English than yours, like you'll also see that they are using or forming a sentence this way. And definitely on top of it, whatever you're responding, you're also seeing what kind of feedback you're getting. So previously, as I said, right, you're using is instead of are. Sparky will
Mhm.
break it down to you. The whole sentence that you've spoken, it'll break it down and say, hey, you should have used this one, or this one. And accordingly, you'll learn over time that these are the grammatical mistakes I make more often. And when your report is generated, you can go back to the home page, you'll click on the report, and you'll see it also concise the whole conversation in one box, tells you, hey, these are the common mistakes that you're making. Over time, work on these kind of mistakes, and when you come back to Sparky, have more of these conversation, try and bring that back, because you're learning with that feedback and you're in a loop now, continuously working on yourself in that loop. So that, I think, feedback and what Sparky is speaking both go hand in hand. With that, over time, you'll, I think, automatically reach there. You don't need to stress on it. You don't need to worry about it, because Sparky will take care of it.
I think that is a natural way of learning English. You cannot, go deep into the topic wise grammar because it's not that easy to understand. So I think
Right.
while you are talking, you are learning few sentences, and this is how you're learning grammar. That is the beneficial part.
Right.
And even I have learned the grammar in the same manner. When I was in school, I was like really bad at grammar. I did not even understand anything. And till now, I haven't tried it again. I'm
Yeah.
still learning through speaking practice. When people speak something and I found it different, I try to understand like what they have used in this particular sentence. I think that's the great way. And second thing, I think Sparky is helping people to improve their confidence as well, because initially when you are a beginner, you have no one to speak with, you feel shy, underconfident. That is the time you need someone actually. And I
Yeah.
think Sparky is the appropriate person for that. What do you think?
Definitely, I agree. It's the most non-judgmental space. Like we all
Yeah.
have experienced this, no? There's always someone who is speaking better English than you. Like every
Yes, yes.
it's not a feeling that other people are not feeling, You might feel this, hey, I am not able to make this proper sentence, but this person is, but this person is also looking at another person and feeling the same thing. So everybody actually, we all feel very similar feelings. It's just that maybe one person feels it more than the other one. But over time, you'll reach that stage and you'll reach the next stage. And it's just part of life, you will grow with time. And with Sparky, I think it's even more easier. Like you don't have to stress about it that, oh my God, this person will judge me. They will go and tell this person.
Yes.
And you don't need to worry about that because Sparky is very easy to talk to. Very easy. Like anything you want to talk about. Maybe sometimes it's difficult about certain topics. Like you have to talk about a policy that is coming out, or the war situation, or maybe something happening in the countries or UN. Those topics are a little bit difficult, but you can talk about your day, right? Like that's easier to talk about. How my week was, my relationships with my parents or with my siblings. These easy topics, pick up with Sparky. Pick up like very easy things to talk about and then go to those kind of topics, and you'll see the difference in yourself. Start reading newspapers, start reading some articles. Maybe newspaper is a bit difficult for you. Small articles or books, like heavy books are difficult for you. Pick up like lighter books, Nancy Drew, Goosebumps, like children's books, and then go to like a higher, maybe you Kafka on the Shore kind of a book, or Hitchhiker's Guide of Galaxy. Like all of these kind of books you can pick up later, but you'll see that step ladder go up as you move forward with this.
That is true. I think there are few people who are like introvert people basically. They don't like to communicate with anyone, not even in English, not even in their mother tongue. They are kind of person who want to reserve themselves and they don't want to explore themselves in public. I think for them it is very, difficult task to learn a new language. I think
Yeah.
Sparky make it easy for them because it is in their comfort zone. They can talk to like even if they can close their room and they can simply practice alone, so I
Yeah.
think it is helping people to build confidence as well.
Yes.
So what
Yes.
do you think? What is the most important part of learning English? I have heard that four pillars are important: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. What do you think? What is the most appropriate way if somebody wants to learn English quickly?
Quickly,
Ah,
yeah, I think just like speak. That's it.
ah,
Like actually, there's nothing more simpler. Most times we look for complexities. How do I go into grammar, the technicality of like adverbs, this, adjectives, that you want to understand what kind of sentence structure. All of this is very complicated. The easiest thing to do is just to be able to speak and listen. I think that what I spoke about with the native language, how we learned, right? Just do that. That is the simplest, and sometimes the complex, most problems also have like the simplest solutions. It's just by speaking practice. Just speak to Sparky, spend some time, block your everyday 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever works for you, block it, and then just speak. I think you will see that progress, and I promise you'll see that progress in yourself itself.
that's great. One last question that is from my side. I just want to ask you, like, what do you think that what kind of English we should learn? Now, two types of English language is there. I can see one is fancy English, one is basic English. I have seen most educated people, they're using very basic English, very simple English, which is able to understand by any person. And there are a category of people, especially if I talk about Gen Zs, they are talking that much hi-fi English. I can say that fancy words. Sometimes, like, I feel that people may not be able to understand. Sometimes we have to Google it. Okay, what is the meaning of that particular word? So, what do you think about this?
Personally, I believe that it can be basic words. You don't need to worry about having like the most sophisticated words in your vocabulary. That's okay. What the idea of communication is just to be able to communicate with another person, right? The most clarity you have in your language, that is more important. Like, how are you able to get your ideas across to the other person? That is what is important. It's not, you don't want to make the other person, imagine right now you already feel this underconfident feeling, right? You don't want to put the other person through that same feeling when you've gone through that same feeling. Yeah, so you don't want to go through that same feeling when you've been through that same feeling, right? And you know how it feels to be, underconfident or feeling
Mhm.
demotivated or feeling low of yourself. You don't want to put that other person through that. So just be able to communicate your idea across and just be able to make proper good sentences. That's it. You don't need to worry about the most sophisticated words. And I think those new words that Gen Z's are introducing in the language, I mean, they're not yet in the dictionary. Yeah, so whatever I think Gen Z is introducing, they're yet not in the actual English dictionary, and some of them might get introduced. We don't know, but you don't need to worry about adding them to your vocabulary. It's good to know, it's good to always learn new things. Like you can actually, whatever new words like skibidi they have introduced, or like some new words that they keep adding, they come and go as a trend, like because we have social media,
Mm.
it's like trying out new
Yes.
people are just trying out new things, and it's okay even if you don't understand those words. You can always like look for them, but unless they're added to the dictionary you don't need to worry about having to use them certainly.
No, nowadays every now and then I've come across a new idiom, new words that it's very difficult to understand sometimes. So I've thought of, okay, like, is it important to learn? But sometimes what I see, I have seen one interview of Ananya Pandey.
Hmm.
She was like very punctual about her English. She just want to speak nice English. She doesn't want to be like the basic one. She want to be on that place where when she speaks, she feels that, okay, I'm speaking something nicely. So I think that comparison is also there in this world. People are not limited to learn the basic English, and they're not, taking this language as a language. They are taking this language as a challenge, and they want to speak superior to other person. I think that is when beginners, seriously, they are struggling a lot when this is coming into the real life, because
Yeah.
they don't understand, like, we are not even able to speak basic English, and now we are listening new words every day which will not exist like few months or years ago.
Yeah.
So very complicated sometimes for a beginner, and I think Sparky is good enough for them. It
Yeah.
can help you to let you new words, new vocabulary, and it's a complete package. I can feel that if a person want to speak fluently, sound fluently, and fancy, he can
Hmm.
take the assistance of this Sparky. Even if you're on advanced level, you want to improve your vocabulary, enhance your communication level to the professional level, I think you should join Sparky. It is very nominal, I would say, like 300, under 300, as you said. It's very convenient. And I would like my viewers to take subscription today, try it, and let me know how do you feel. And yes, again, it's a lovely conversation with you.
Thank you, same here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye bye. Take care. Have a nice day.
Thank you, bye bye, take care.